Hey, good afternoon, ladies. Coach Helton with you this afternoon. We're going to do another round of shout-outs, baby. This one here, I'm going extreme. Just like this last tournament we got coming up. Extreme, ladies. 4 days. 4 days. All right, here we go. We're going to do shout-outs from the last tournament in Humble. We lost in that championship game. Went down through and broke out stats very similar to how the last shout out was organized. So I think I'm going to do that again, go down through the team stats, and then shout out a few of you guys within those. And then made a list of some different nominations for shout outs for different plays and reads in general, kind of away from the stats. Have a few things to discuss in terms of things being funny that I remembered from the tournament, and then we'll finish up with some reminders and expectations for how this weekend's going to roll. So I went back and watched some film and took some notes from Lacey and Ellie and some other girls on how to put on eye black, and I think I nailed it actually. So anyway, here we go. Batting, we're going to start with that first. Offense. Currently, our team average is 282. We've kind of stalled out, if you will, right around that number. I think as a team average, that's not terrible as well. We've talked about that. One thing that was kind of cool to see is we may have talked about some of this stuff already, but the Humble tournament itself, where we did play in that championship game, we batted 325 as a team that tournament. So certainly gave us, an opportunity to go deep on Sunday. So again, average there, team average is 282, and then the tournament-specific average was 325. So great job. 2 claps. We're going to recognize the top 1, 2, 3, 4 hitters again. These guys were all nominated for production, at the plate. Ellie was one of them. She had 2 hits, 5 RBIs, and a grand slam home run. That was pretty cool. Real cool, actually. Winner, 5 hits, 7 RBIs, with a home run as well. Probably the number one reason that Ellie came back, to be honest. Lacey, 5 hits, 2 RBIs, and Emma De La Fuente, 3 hits and 2 RBIs. Emma, you really came on in that tournament. Had a couple nice things there, a bunt as well. So 2 claps. Great job, guys. Those were the leaders, batting 500. Okay, all 4 of those girls batted 500 for the tournament. Some of them had more at bats than others, but again, still it's a 500. So great job, 2 claps. We had only. Going kind of down through some of those offensive statistics, we only had 1 K looking, 1 strikeout looking. That was it. And in general, we only had 12 strikeouts on 77 at bats. So I thought that was kind of interesting. We were able to manufacture, looks like 25 hits and 16 walks. So again, weekend was 325 on the team batting average, and we lost in the championship game. Moving on to defense. CeeLo, overwhelming nomination there for having 1,000 fielding percentage after 17 chances during that tournament. So 2 claps. Certainly leading the pack on that stat and leading by example with your play there. So great job. Our team fielding percentage is at 862. So that's pretty darn good. Could be better, but still very, very good for, who we are, where we're at, and where we're going. There is an interesting way to look at that. So the team average fielding percentage is 862. That breaks out to having 13 errors on 94 chances during that tournament. So again, not too shabby. And then moving on down to pitching. Fry was kind of the unanimous nomination there. She led us with 10.1 innings pitched. Had 10 Ks. Great job. 2 claps. Had only 5 walks. Had a 2.7 ERA and a 1.45 whip. So that's real nice, Clark. Great job. 2 claps. We're going to need you girls to be able to do some pitching this weekend, you know. We'll go over it at the end. This weekend's certainly not about wins and losses, but if we do want to have, you know, a competitive opportunity, pitching's going to need to be key. So hopefully you girls are rested and can bring it this weekend and spin it. That's pretty much the wrap up on the stats. I mean, we've progressed through these shout outs. This is the 4th or 5th one now. So again, the analysis is a little bit higher, analyzing the team production and performance, and then, you know, called out a few names within that. We'll kind of hold that model through the end of the year. We'll go through now and list out different plays and or reads that stood out to us in that shout out sense, something derived from attitude, effort, or execution rate, really. So the first one is we have, and I think most of you guys have heard this story, but I'm going to tell it again just in case you haven't, because it's freaking hilarious. So Winner is up to bat, misreads a call from me to her. Okay, we've already talked about that, the fake bunt. You guys thought it meant, I don't know, fake fastball or something. Anyway, so she does a fake bunt, turns and looks at me in like a look of approval, and I'm giving her one of these. So there's, of course, this weird 10 seconds of awkwardness there. And then she just gets up and strokes a home run. It's like, why didn't you just do that in the beginning? But anyway, great job. That was a good play. Ellie, your grand slam. That, man, I think every time you get up and there's 3 people on the bases, people can, like, start to feel it, if it's going to happen or not. And I felt it for sure. So that was pretty sweet. 2 claps there. Grand slams are always awesome. I think you've got a few of those now. A lot of people, you know, would like to have one, and you've got multiple. So great job. I know you put in a lot of work on that front. And then your other, you had another one you smashed that almost went over but went off the fence. So again, great job. Good power. Shay, you had an outstanding bunt. A very, very, very good player read, player called bunt, and couldn't have happened at a better time. And it was executed. So that was really, really great. Along with that bunt, Shay, Emma De La Fuente, you had a great bunt as well. Off your toe or not, you played it well, you were safe, and it looked natural. So great job. CeeLo, I think there was a couple plays there, but one in general, it really did look like when you were on first base, you got an early jump on the steal, and from us coaches, it really looked like you were able to recognize that it was a changeup and that ball was going to be floating, and then you took off. So if that's the case, great job. That's exactly what, you know, we're looking for when y'all are on the bases. When you pick something up, read it and go. Oh, good job. Ella, you were nominated again for that fantastic play in the outfield. Shay, she does that again. Just give her the cleat, okay? She'll pull up, and then you can catch that ball. But just kidding. Great job. Good effort. Way to roll, too. Way to tuck and roll on that one. Audrey Ferguson, freaking absolute clutch hit to win the game, you know? And it was awesome because on that at-bat specifically, I remember walking up to you before and looking at you saying, hey, if you ever wanted a chance to be a hero, now would be a good time. And then you did it. That was cool. Kind of as a team nomination, you know, going and stealing back that win when we were down 0-5 is always going to have a little place, you know, in my heart. I got a little bucket over there off to the side where you win games, you know, because you go and rip it back out of the other team's hands. And I felt like that's what we did there. So that was sweet. I like that. And then kind of at the end of this recognition, our team behavior, team poise, team, you know, overall energy is on point now. Looks good, feels good to coach y'all. You know, we represent ourselves well when we're out there. You know, was able to have some conversations with a former player's mom who's been out to some different tournaments in in other states. And one thing that she was recognizing, or at least something that was recognizable to her, was how different teams operate, and when they operate in unison and in sync and controlled, rehearsed, all of those types of things. So anyway, I think our team MO, method of operating, I think our team behavior is on point. So great job. Keep that up. Moving along, I'm going to wrap this up with a few funny things, just some tidbits. Maybe you guys can remember some of this stuff and get a chuckle out of it. But, look, it happened to my daughter, and she was going through it this last weekend. I personally have never seen her struggle with something like that so much. So that was kind of interesting. But for her to show back up in that next game, I can't remember what she had done, but she dove and slid into third and got up and looked me square in the eye and said, "Dad, I think I'm going to shit my pants." So apologies for the bad word there, but I had to tell it like it was, and it made me almost do that to my pants laughing. So I think a few of you have a story similar to that where, she told you she was hanging on. And I apologize for the few that she may have infected as well. Heard some horror stories about a few of you having the bubble guts for a few days there. So our apologies. Blame it on Ellie. But anyway, that was funny. Just kind of a weird deal in tournaments. You got to seek those out. Winner, you make the list for the fake bunt / home run. We've already talked about that, but that certainly will go down as one of the funniest moments in the tournament for me. Shay, I think we may have talked about this in practice too, but, she read a scenario where she really wanted to bunt in an at-bat, and it was weird as heck in the moment because she was looking at me like holding her bat, like pacing back and forth, giving me these big eyes or whatever, and I'm just like in my mind thinking, is she freaked out? Like, there's no way. And I didn't pick up on it right away. And then that very next pitch, she squared and bunted. So afterwards, she came up to me and she was like, "Well, that was my way of asking if I could bunt." So kind of funny. Anyway, the next one would probably be that overwhelming trash smell. Maybe not funny, but certainly something to remember and helps that tournament stick out. And then wanted to close with a new 10 commandment, maybe the 11th commandment for us here. The first person who gets on GroupMe and posts where we're working out, that's where we're working out. You win, okay? So keep it up, whoever's being first. And then, ladies, for this upcoming weekend, I'm going to wrap up with this right here. Just some reminders about the showcase, and then, maybe a couple notes here to help our expectations. Reminder, okay? Showcases are strictly for college exposure, meaning that your whole entire life is being exposed in the eyes of a college. So you need to think less about winning and losing, and you need to think more about being the best version of yourself all day long. On the field, stretching, in the game, getting your butt chewed out on the sideline, in the dugout, interactions, out in the grass, in the shade. What's your behavior like? All of that stuff is on display. So again, if some of you guys don't like that, I get it. But again, we've got to recognize that, we've got to change our behavior. We've got to change our expectation based on where we want to go. And I know a lot of y'all are interested in college. So it's just a reminder. It's not about the win or the loss this weekend. It's about you. How do you perform? How do you act? All of those things. In terms of how are we going to roll with the 6 games that we have guaranteed, we haven't nailed this down completely, but I believe we will probably do something like 50-50. Like 50% of those games will go super competitive, and then maybe 50% of those games will do more of the rotational roster and things of that nature. So look forward to playing some good softball there. The cool thing is the first 2 days, Thursday and Friday, we only have 2 games, and they're in the morning or, early afternoon. Not back to back, but they're, pretty close to each other. So that leaves, some good time. Maybe not. Friday, I guess, is going to be 3 games. But at least Thursday, there's only 2 games. And then Friday, I guess there is the 3 games. So it's not a whole heck of a lot. But bring what you got. Bring the hype on Thursday. Let's have a good time. Let's get after it. We'll probably treat those like pool play games, I guess. But let's have fun. The mentality, play good, do well, cheer on your teammates, forget about winning and losing, and just have fun. Work hard and do good. All right? Love you guys, and we'll see you soon. Deuces.